Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. A member of Congress is sounding the alarm amidst concerns that terror group Hezbollah may be in cahoots with drug cartels along the U.S.-Mexico border. Republican Congresswoman Sue Myrick of North Carolina has called on the Homeland Security Secretary Janet Napolitano to establish a special task force to assess how best to combat the national security threat. Joining us from Washington to talk about this and other issues is Representative Myrick, who serves on the powerful Energy and Commerce Committee, the House Intelligence Committee, and as Deputy Whip. Welcome back to Newsmax TV, Representative.
Well, thanks.
Representative Myrick, terrorist groups have had a presence in South America for some time, working with drug cartels, but this hits much closer to home. What do we know about Hezbollah creeping closer to and inside the United States?
Well, our intelligence sources have really clarified that they are in Mexico, that there is an operation that is quite large based there. And it's very frightening to me because this is national security. That's what it's all about. Yes, immigration's a problem too, but this particular situation is people who don't like us for various reasons. And what will they do? We know some of them have gotten across the border in the past, and now we know that there are people from Iran who are going to Venezuela. They are actually learning Spanish, and then they get fake documents and come up through Mexico to cross our border. So they're working in cahoots with Venezuela as well. And they have been in 5 other South American countries, as you mentioned, for some time.
Now, do we know what Hezbollah's intentions are?
We don't know. They have just in the past said that it's changed a bit because, you know, it used to be that most of those groups did not really target the United States. They were targeting other countries or they stayed within their own area of influence. But now it appears that they are starting to target the United States, and that's my concern.
Now, what should we be doing, in your opinion, to fix the problem? Because I understand that you've asked Secretary Napolitano to create a special task force to look into this. What kind of response have you received?
Well, I do want a task force of both U.S. and Mexican officials to let's get to the bottom of it and find out what is going on. The response I've received was a call to say they would like to give me a private intelligence briefing because I'm on the Intelligence Committee. And I said that would be fine, but I would like an answer to my letter first because about the task force, because once I get an intelligence briefing, I can't talk about it.
Right. Now, Representative, I know that you say that this is a national security issue, that immigration is important. They are linked. Do you think that the Obama administration is serious about protecting our borders? Arizona Senator John Kyle says he implored President Obama to secure the border during a private meeting he had with him. Kyle claims that Obama told him that if he did that, it would remove the incentive for comprehensive immigration reform or amnesty for illegals. What is your take on Obama's approach to border security?
Well, it's obvious that that's what he wants, amnesty. He said that over and over again. I don't see it that way. You know, our responsibility as a federal government is to be sure that our borders are secure. That's what it's all about. We are supposed to be protecting our citizens. And if we know once the border is secure, like it is in some other places where we don't have the problems that we do in the areas where it's porous, if we do that, then we know who's in the country. We can control who comes into the country, and we have a better handle on what's going on. But until we do that, nobody has a clue. So, you know, it makes no sense to me whatsoever that you can't secure the border because you can't get amnesty. I mean, first of all, I don't support amnesty. But the bottom line is securing the border is what's most important right now. And we've been trying to get that done for how many years?
Now, Attorney General Holder has filed suit against Arizona's immigration law, claiming that it usurps federal immigration law. Holder is now threatening another suit on racial profiling grounds. What is your take on all of this?
Well, I honestly think, you know, first of all, the federal government has not done their job. That's true. But to file suit against a state that is actually trying to protect their own citizens, stop the killings, the kidnappings. You know, Phoenix is the #1 kidnapping city in this country, #2 in the world. The drug cartels are killing people on the border and inside the border even now, right and left in the Tucson area. It's wide open. Everybody knows the problems are there. Arizona is trying to protect themselves. Where the fencing is in California, they don't have a problem. And actually in Yuma, Arizona, where they've got secure border crossings, they don't have a problem. And in Texas, they've done a pretty good job. So, you know, it's kind of found its way back to Arizona again because that's the open place. And Arizona's only trying to do what a state has a right to do, and that's protect themselves.
Now, Democrats are worried that this lawsuit will cost them at the polls. I understand that you're running for re-election. What is the mood like right now amongst incumbents who are up for re-election? Because a number of them are taking a hit. And how do House Republicans feel about the prospect of winning back the House?
Well, I don't talk about winning back the House, Kathleen. What I try and concentrate on, of course, is my own race. A lot of people are literally very concerned about what's going to happen in their elections because they come from districts where people are extremely upset about immigration. I come from a district where immigration still polls #1 along with spending and the debt and deficit. I mean, it's right up there and has been for years. And so this is a big problem with people all across the country, particularly when they don't have a job and then they see illegals who are in here who are working. It's very upsetting to them, and it should be. So, you know, we have a responsibility as a federal government to do it. And I know for those members who are in districts where this is a problem, yes, they're upset. Yes, they're concerned.
Representative, the last time we spoke, you expressed concern that President Obama is risking our security by dragging his feet on Iran. That was back in October. On July 1st, he signed into law new sanctions on Iran, which have been hyped as the toughest ever passed by the U.S. Congress. But critics say they are rife with loopholes. Meantime, the international community continues calling on Iran to halt its uranium enrichment program. Are you satisfied with these new sanctions? And if not, what should the U.S. be doing right now to deal with Iran?
Well, I think we should take a tougher stance, and I think we should really work harder with our partners in the world to make sure that they do, because we know some of them are still doing business with Iran. You know, it's all money. That's what it's about, and they're not going to stop until some way they're forced to do it. The UN is just a joke. They aren't doing their job, but then they never do, in my opinion. And so I really am concerned about the fact that we aren't taking a tough enough stand, because in effect Iran just thumbs their nose at us when it comes to uranium enrichment. They're going to continue to do it. They aren't going to stop. They have a plan and they're going to carry it out. And you know, when you do things that aren't tough enough to really make them hurt to feel the difference, why should they bother to stop?
Right. Well, if Israel were to strike Iran militarily alone, would you support such a move?
Well, I think Israel has a right to defend themselves. We said that over and over again. And I know people in Israel are very concerned about this because that option is there. They are, of course, you know the situation as to how close everything is over there and how easy it would be to do that. Israel has always tried to take care of themselves. The United States has always helped to support Israel. And as I said, I support Israel. I hope it does not come to that, very frankly. But you know, there needs to be something done to have a tougher stance with Iran. They aren't going to be our friends. You can't convince them they're going to be our friends. They don't operate that way. They don't want to be friends. They want to conquer the world.
Representative, I know you also sit on the House Energy and Commerce Committee, so I'd like to get your thoughts on the administration's response to that massive spill in the Gulf. There is good news in that robots have placed a new cap on that runaway wellhead, but the White House has instructed the Justice Department to try again to get a legal ban on all deepwater drilling in the Gulf of Mexico for 6 months after the previous bans were reversed in the courts. In your opinion, is such a moratorium a good idea or bad idea, or is this the Obama administration playing politics to deflect criticism that it didn't do enough to respond to the spill?
Well, there's politics involved, unfortunately. You know, the damage that's been done is horrible. And the damage that has been done, not only the lives that were lost, but the damage that has been done to the economy, the fishermen and other industries that depend on their livelihood that don't have jobs right now and don't see it coming back. That is a real big concern. The other concern in the drilling industry is the fact is those rigs are expensive and they lease them. And so they will be moving those rigs to other countries offshore because they've got to keep them active. And they aren't just going to sit there for however many months and wait until something's done to lift a moratorium. I don't think you need a blanket moratorium on everything. They've been drilling in the Gulf all my lifetime, and there has not been a problem. This is a very unfortunate incident where the company literally missed a lot of warning signs that they should have paid attention to. They were very much at fault in this. But I don't think you penalize everyone, and you penalize all those people who make their livelihood, even the people who work in that industry. Plus the fact we get 30% of our domestic oil, here. And the problem with that is then it makes us more dependent on the countries in the Middle East. We're sending more money over there. We're sending jobs over there. We're sending jobs offshore that could be providing jobs for Americans, especially when our unemployment in this country is sky high.
All right, Representative Sue Myrick, thanks so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.